Welcome to Ignite Session 10. I am your instructor, your facilitator, your coach from afar, Robert Earl, and we are almost halfway through Ignite. Can you believe it? Good job on making it this far through. We are now going to move into the third segment of Ignite, which is going to take us into our lead follow up. Any lead follow up, any communications that we do, we want to make sure we do it in a TCPA compliant manner so that we are staying in compliance with all of our local rules. Check with your local market center for more details. So, the third segment that we're in, we've talked about becoming a real estate expert. We've then started to apply that by having conversations with individuals through lead generation, by putting ourselves out there so that we can have people make responses to us. Now that we have responses that are starting to come in, people that are raising their hands and saying, I'm looking to buy, sell, or invest, that we can start to be the one to work with them and that we can follow up. So in this particular section, we're going to focus on keeping every lead that does come our way. So let's jump into our agenda for the sessions. In this particular one, we're going to talk about what is lead follow-up, how to lead follow-up, your post-lead follow-up, recaps, and then of course we're going to jump into our daily success system. You didn't think because you made it to session 10 that your daily success system was going to go away. No matter how long you're in real estate, you're still going to have to do the fundamentals, and your daily success system will be a portion of it. See, by the end of today, we're going to describe the benefits of establishing a system of lead follow-up. We're going to apply the 19 to connect, touch, campaign with all leads, and we're going to explain the importance of cementing the relationship with your leads. So, as we go through these steps, our first step is, what is lead follow-up? A lead is a person that has shown an interest in the services that you provide, and they may have your contact information, although they're yet to engage in a two-way conversation. They've followed up, they've raised their hand, they've given you some information. It's now your opportunity to follow up with that details. You may have gotten their information at an open house and they wanted more details. There may have been a Facebook posting that you did, and now they have responded to that, and it's your opportunity to follow up with them. You see, every person in your database, no matter if it's a lead or contact, requires some sort of follow-up. Yet not every one of them has an immediate real estate need or have raised their hands to say that they have a real estate need. So let's consider this. Are the people you put in your database only in your real estate database, or are they in other real estate agents' database? Are you the only real estate agent that they know? That's not likely. They are going to be in other databases. This is your opportunity to differentiate yourself and actually stay in contact with them so that when they have a real estate need, when they think of real estate, they immediately think of you. We've talked about this graphic before and what it means when it comes to lead follow-up. Everyone in your database lives at some point along these waves. At the top of the wave is when they're looking to purchase or looking to sell a home. The day after they buy a home, they start moving down the wave and continuing on until they have a need again and they move to buy a home or sell a home. Sometimes over a lifetime, individuals can go through this 3, 4, 5 times, with the average distance between the moves being 7 to 10 years. Now, are you only going to choose to work with somebody when they're at the top of the peak? And the answer is no. You're going to work with them all the way throughout the process while they're working up to that point. And then even after they bought or sold, you're going to stay in contact with them in order to be the person that they use the next time and to receive referrals that go through there. See, you may perceive someone that's not looking to buy right this second as being a quote unquote bad contact or a bad lead. There's no such thing as a bad lead. Every lead, every contact is on the wave somewhere through here. They may not be quote unquote hot right now, they are a future potential for being a buyer or seller. They themselves may never buy or sell another home. They may be somebody that refers you and tells you about other individuals that are looking to buy or sell. As a real estate agent, following up with all of the contacts and leads with frequency and intensity is the key to remaining in close emotional proximity to them so that any contact, any lead approaching the top of the wave, and it's not even a slow buildup. They could have gone to work today, realized that their company or their job is being relocated, and they immediately go from not even thinking about moving to, and you are the one that they're going to turn to and say, I need to sell my home. I need to buy a home in another location. That's why it's important for you to stay in contact with them. You never know when that lead follow-up comes into play. So if we look at this in a different way, think of leads that enter your database through lead generation as your possible business. Lead follow-up helps you turn the leads from possible business into probable business with the end goal of being profitable business. We work through this journey. The National Association of Realtors profile of home buyers and sellers that is done every year details the opportunity that lead follow-up can provide to your business. They collected research that shows that when selecting an agent to use, 75% of buyers only talk to one agent, and 82% of sellers only talked to one agent. See, think of it this way. I like to use this example. It's a little out of your student guide. If I asked you to name a cola, you might say, I would say Coca-Cola. Okay? Then if I asked you to name another cola, this is where people might say, well, Sprite or Mountain Dew. Well, those aren't really colas. So think of another cola. Oh, Pepsi. Okay, so now we've got Coke, we've got Pepsi. Think of a third type of cola, and this is where most people get stumped. Unless they grew up in an area that had RC Cola, they might bring up RC, they might bring up a store brand, but the majority of folks are going to think of this and they're going to say Coke or Pepsi. That same principle of Mindshare applies to being a real estate agent. The data shows that most buyers or sellers only interview one agent before deciding to do business with them. So what will you do to ensure that you are the one agent with everyone in your database? If you aren't first or second in their mind, you probably won't get the business. This comes from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. The concept of taking up space in people's mind through staying in close emotional proximity to them is called Mindshare. Emotional proximity is a result of engaging in the touches with your database, providing your value and your differentiator to your database. Think back to the day that you learned about lead generation. What touches are the strongest when it comes to relationship building and which are the weakest? You see, meeting a person in person, face to face, having a cup of coffee with them, having a discussion with them, those are touches. A phone call is a touch, a text message is a touch, a like on a social media post is a touch, yet some of them have a higher impact than others. Having a conversation face to face or over the phone where you're going through something like a Ford dialogue, or more importantly, during lead follow up, that you recall an item that they brought up during the Ford discussions, where you ask them about their family, you ask them about how is your mother doing, etc., if they live in the area. This starts to tie into that emotional response. And meeting in person and phone calls are the touches that will have the greatest impact on the relationship that you are building. Emails and text are weaker relative to staying in touch with somebody and forming that connection, and then that little click of a like on social media will be even further. Now you are seeing again the importance of the handwritten notes, is that stands out, that puts you above just the strict social media message, the email of somebody getting that card and going, wow, I don't get these very often. This is pretty cool. It makes a further, deeper connection that you have. So let's stop and think about this a little bit and have some ahas about that lead follow-up that we're doing and how that lead follow-up can be impactful, making sure that we're doing it, that it's systematic, and that we are mixing in the types of communications so that we can be number one or number two in their mind when it comes to them thinking about you being a real estate agent. This is the keys of what we're doing. So, how do we do the actual lead follow-up? Well, what we're doing is in the original publishing of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, we were going through and had what was called an 8x8. We would go through and once a week for 8 weeks, we would stay in touch with somebody. Now what we're doing is we are being a little bit more purposeful about it and standing out a bit more as we go through. These are recommendations for a system of a touch campaign that came through the lead generation segment. We'll talk about this called a 19 to connect. The 19 to connect is made up of 4 touches that are quarterly phone calls. It's also 12 touches that are a monthly email, newsletter, market report, a video that you have recorded and post and then send out to the individuals in your database. They are 2 touches that are promotional in nature, that are direct mails, shall we say a magnet, a calendar. Many agents over the past have made the mistake if they only focus on the 2 touches or the 1 touch. They send an annual calendar. They only have that one particular touch that goes on. And then we want to have some sort of event as well. That is an annual event, a party, a movie screening, a get-together, a first-time buyer seminar, and an informational session. I even say that when you do those, it's fantastic because you can do more communication, more touches when it gets to that particular point. This is when they are leads and when you're working through them. So, when do you think a lead should be added to your 19 to Connect Touch program? A lead should be added to the Touch program immediately. You need to be aware that when you come across somebody, it is speed to lead. And so you're going to be in contact with them, and you're not just going to do a contact, you're going to be in contact with them much more. Now, Robert, you're going to ask me, wait a second, if they need to buy a home next week, do I wait and only call them quarterly? And the answer is no. We're going to match their intensity. If they just got the job notification that they need to move, we're going to be there this evening, and we're going to be there tomorrow, and we're going to be there this weekend and next week, etc., to be in touch with them. But this is a systemized way of knowing, hey, I have something set up that will give me reminders to give them a quarterly phone call, that I'm going to put them into a monthly newsletter system that goes out to them. You know what? I need to have on my schedule then a time that I create this monthly newsletter schedule. This might be the time that you talk to your productivity coach or your market center tech trainer, your MCTT. Get a time on their schedule so that you can set up in KW Command and have these systems put in place. So this is the 19 to connect, in addition to the 1 to cement, that actual meeting that you have, and then your regular contacts that you're doing, a 36 touch program. Some considerations for you to work with during your lead follow-up program. What are your particular strengths? For myself, it's video. I could do video, and if I had a video that was part of my newsletter, this would help support them. How can I adapt my touches to represent my value? You might be a writer. You might be able to work with somebody, a partner, a lender that provides you with market stats and data, and you're going to be the expert on market conditions. What are some reasons that you have for contacting a lead? What are some touches to do before the phone call, after the phone call? Are you using your conversations to let the person know that you're in real estate, not just to be social? So how are you purposeful, moving from E to P in your conversations about being purposeful? When is it the best for you to do your time blocking for lead follow-up? Red Book, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, recommends that it's first thing in the morning while you have the most energy, where you can block out the distractions. That may not work with your schedule. It comes to a point, though, that you have to have it on your schedule. If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. And how much time should it take to reach out to a lead? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? Are you going to work with your productivity coach to make sure that this is occurring? Those are some of the ways that you need to look at this. So if we're breaking this down even further, before you even get into this setup, we want to design your 19 to connect. We want to review through these particular steps. We want to come up with some ideas for each category that you would be able to go through. If you're getting in contact with somebody 12 times a year, well, maybe that is a birthday card. Maybe that is a variance between market reports, informative videos, informational emails. Might be something that it's a neighborhood specific newsletter. I will warn you from my experience, if you get too granular, if you have 4 or 5 neighborhoods you're trying to work with, be prepared that you're going to be doing 4 or 5 neighborhood newsletters from this, because you want it to be hyper local to those individuals. That cannot be used as an excuse to not do this. If you took this information that's on the screen, if you took this information that's in your study guide, and you put this into ChatGPT and you said, give me a 12-month plan, it will give you information back. It will give you prompters that will assist you in putting together this plan. Then it's a matter of taking it and putting it into either SmartPlans in Command, or using campaigns within Command that give you this information that help you. So you would have your 12 connects, you would have your 2 promotional emails, might be a local sports team schedule I brought up before. If you're in Alabama and it's Roll Tide, you might want to do the schedule for the upcoming football season, that it's a magnet that goes there. A NASCAR schedule, IndyCar, your local high school sports team that's coming up, and that's a way for you to be able to support. There are vendors online that will help you do these types of things. And then for an event, organizing a neighborhood cleanup day on the playground, or passing out the items that are going to be for a food drive, so that you have the multiple connections that you're able to make. You want to be able to make an impact, and you want to focus on coming from contribution and making sure that you are incorporating your value proposition. Why should somebody do business with you? This also gives you an opportunity to sprinkle in personal communications of items that you know about them that can be very relevant to conversations that you've had, and tying it back together to your personal communications and your value proposition as to how you can assist them with the issue that they've been going through. If you haven't heard from somebody in a while, that would be a time for you to reach out, for you to prompt them, and to be able to connect with them. You have to look beyond the who when you contact a lead. The most basic way to start doing this is to craft your message based upon the source of the lead, from where it was generated from, or your value proposition that you're using. For example, if the lead came through social media post about first-time home buying, sending them an investor property newsletter might not be the most relevant information that you can send them. They're going to want to know information about how to save up for a down payment, how to clean up their credit. They're going to want to know information that an FHA loan requires a lower down payment than a conventional loan, and how they'd be able to work through that. You see, once the door is open for that two-way communication, then your conversations can find out that motivation. You can then use statistics and data to be able to back that up and provide your validity, so that you can show them your value proposition and how you are the best one to be able to assist them when they have a buying, selling, or investing need. So if we look at our lead follow-up communications, and we have the different potential lead sources, that it was a call-in, that it was a community event, that it was an open house. In our market center, we work with our agents to put together a specific follow-up plan for somebody that has come through your open house, thanking them for coming through the open house, offering to meet with them, offering an opportunity to find out how much they can afford on a monthly basis, a text message, a phone call, all done in a TCPA compliant manner. And using a data bank like KW Command would allow somebody to be put in as a contact, set on the smart plan. Then you're going about your daily business. Next morning, you log into the system, and it has already sent the email for you. Then a week later, on your task list, it comes up and it says it's now time to call this person. And because they've been tagged correctly, you'll know, oh, that person came through the open house. Oh, I've already sent them the message. Now you know what your words that work, your dialogue, your scripts can be when you follow up on what you're doing. So consider your different ways of the potential lead sources, and then develop your statements or your questions that you would ask based upon the information. Well, why are you thinking about buying or selling? Tell me more about this. What is your time frame that you're looking. One I love to use: has anyone taken the time to fill in the blank? Have they taken the time to sit down and find out what specifically you're looking for in a property? Have they set up a search for you? Have they provided you with an electronic online app for you to be able to use when you drive around? These are all considerations that you can have from the communication plan. This will help you to think about: I met somebody, I have a plan for them, I'm going to follow up. Little advice as well that comes from me and years of experience that I know. The not having this follow-up plan is not an excuse to sit on the sidelines. You have to be talking to individuals. And taking the time to set these up is going to strengthen your business. It's actually going to turn it into a business and a system that can work. And the quicker that you set up these types of systems, the more comfortable you'll feel to actually pick up the phone or talk to individuals, because you'll know when you're having a conversation, I already have that first-time homebuyer report. I already have that information, that link to that article about the wealth, the net wealth of people that own versus renting. I already have that link to that credit repair service. I can start them on this follow-up plan that will help me connect with them and show my validity as to why I'm the one that they should work with. Aha time. So, opportunity to stop, to think about this, to say, okay, here are the types of folks that I've already been working with. Can I group them all together in one plan? And the answer is yes. At first, when you're up and running, having them all get the same newsletter, having them all get the same video, having them all get the same information that talks about you and overall market stats and overall information and why they should work with you, that's better than nothing. And as you start going through your business, you'll say, you know what, I'm doing a tremendous amount of open houses. Let me go ahead and have a specific follow-up plan after an open house. I keep running into for sale by owners. Let me have a specific plan that is a follow-up for my connection that I can make with for sale by owners. That will assist you in what you're doing. Then we'll get into the post follow-up segment of it. The post follow-up segment is that we've obtained this permission, we're working with them, we have this two-way communication that's starting to go on. That lead is that contact within your database, and now we're going to even increase the amount of communication that we're having with them, and we want to set up a time for an actual appointment to cement the relationship. Connecting with the lead does not necessarily mean that they will do business with you. And it's not a fully flushed out relationship. It's not as strong as it could be. That's why you want to continue with them on another touch campaign. Just because somebody's gone through your open house follow-up program doesn't mean that the communication stops. They then graduate to another plan, and that plan helps reinforce the messaging that you did. It also works with the individual when they're on the up and down of the chart that we've talked about. Now we start to see that we have lead generation, we have relationship management, we have the client and referral loop, and then it repeats back into the system as we go through all of the details. Something very, very important to this is that cement at some point in making sure that you get the appointment. This high value touch that solidifies the relationship you've established opens the door to future interactions. So this would be something that provides you the opportunity to tell them about the services that you provide, that helps set up for future conversations and follow-up appointments. It serves as that specific reminder of your interaction. So it gives you an opportunity to thank them for meeting with you and being able to go through the different steps. First-time home buyer, what if you offered a Keller Inc. book called Your First Home as a gift for first-time home buyers so that they can be educated about the buying process by reading that book, knowing that you're the one that's going to help hold their hand through the process and be able to help assist them. That is where we cement the relationship and are able to work with them because we have that high value touch that's gone on. Either something that we're providing or something that we're doing face to face to being involved with them. So, a lot of information here on lead follow-up. It's not just something that we do one time. It is not really a set and forget. It's a set and get reminded so that we can be purposeful about these communications. Please leave a review, leave a comment. If you want to do it formally, go right ahead. KW Cares, that would be great for you to support it, and KW Next Gen, being purposeful about your business and about the way in which you give back. So, jumping into some of the ahas, it's not just hunting. Lead generation can sometimes be thought of that way. It is the opportunity, and you've had some ahas to change your thinking about lead follow-up. When I meet somebody, I put them into my system. I now start them on a smart plan. They don't really exist in my database unless I have a name, email, phone number, and now I've put them onto an actual smart plan. This would make you feel differently because you're actually providing value and educating them on why they should work with you. You are actually taking action, and the only way to attract, you can't spell the word attraction without the word action. And then we've talked about the tools, the systems, the models that are in place for you to be able to carry this out. Mainly KW Command and your data bank, your smart data bank. Daily success system time. So let's jump into that. Our success system is having the conversations. Now you're starting to see that some of these conversations can be and will be lead follow-up conversations, that we want to make sure that we are adding individuals to our database on a consistent basis. We want to stand out with impactful communications, and this is where your handwritten notes will start to come up. Those might be the birthday cards that you're doing, and you have the information that you're sending out. Cannot fall behind or set aside your social media engagements as well. This is key in today's marketplace to have them being contacted in multiple different ways, and then always be on the lookout for your enrichments that you would be looking at, like that Your First Home book, like articles that you're finding, because we want to turn these into appointments, agreements, and closings. All of your communication done in compliance with the Do Not Call list and the TCPA. Your mindset. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. I hope you feel it coming through the screen that we're trying to do this from a level of contribution to launch your career the right way, for you to have a student guide and to realize that this isn't just something that we made up yesterday. It's something that has been researched by Keller Keller Williams University to position you to launch your career and ignite your career the best that it possibly can be. You need to put in the effort with your role play, putting together your conversation list online, offline. This is where that task reminder can assist you, that a task reminder can come up and say, it's time to call somebody that is on your follow-up list that you tagged because it's an appropriately spaced time, for example, that they came through your open house. Do your lead generation now. Do your follow-up. Update your contacts that you actually did your follow-up. Would your productivity coach be able to go in and look at your KW command and look in the timeline and see that you've actually done the work of following up and following through with the individual because you've recorded conversations, you've recorded what you bumped into them, you ran into them, you had a conversation, you sent your emails, you sent your text messages, you've had your phone calls. Your system will give you that record. You've made deposits into your data bank so that at some point you'll be able to get your returns. Love to hear about your successes. You're now halfway through Ignite. Leave me a message. Let me know how it's going, how successful you have been with this. Continue on with your success system. You need to take action. We're now to the point where learning and preparation starts to tip over to action as well so that we're doing this. If you need help, KW Command, Connect, it's all available to you. Check with your local market center. They'll give you the resources. They'll point you in the right direction to have the details that you need. In our next session, we're going to dive even deeper, where we're going to master the art of following up with leads. Thank you so much. Congratulations. You are halfway through. I know I'm an auto racing fan, and in halfway, when they have crossed halfway, if it starts raining, if it starts getting stormy, they can consider that an official race. Real estate's not that way. You're only halfway through. You are just building the foundational blocks. Now we need to build the house on top of it. That's going to come starting in session 11 through 20. Don't give up now. Make it a great day.